When we at Avoka design a form, we generally design the basic layout and structure, all the fields and sections of the form in our first pass. And we'll often then do a second pass across the form where we go and add all of the polish to the fields. And so, for example, one thing we might do is go into the individual fields and change something like the tooltip, which is a little pop-up note that appears when you hover your mouse over the field. And instead of the default, which is the same as the label, I might put in something like, this is the 8-digit number that appears in the top corner of your statement, as just a way of assisting our users to go through to help them complete the form. And there are various other things that I might change. I might change particular aspects of the data binding. I might tweak the layout. I might change the color schemes or fonts to be used for particular fields if that's what the template designer has allowed me to do. I might specify rules such as whether the field is mandatory or visible or editable, and even modify some of the individual styles on that field. However, going through each field individually and double-clicking on it to bring up that dialog is quite a tedious way to achieve this, and it's also very difficult to get that 30,000-foot view of what your form looks like. For example, looking at this design, how do I know which fields do or don't have a hint applied to them? So, with the emphasis on productivity, Composer has provided a feature called the bulk editor. The bulk editor allows you to see in a spreadsheet-like metaphor every single field within your form, and it allows you to modify certain aspects of those fields. So for example, at the moment I'm on the presentation settings, which allows me to see in one place and modify the labels, tooltips, foreground and background colors for each of my fields. So for example, I might scroll down and see that under last name, the caption is last name. Now I could change that, or the label rather. But in this case, it's the tooltip that I want to change, and I might say this, please enter your family name. I could also, if I wanted to, go in and change the color, foreground color for that particular field. And I can simply scroll through and do that for all of the fields in my form. And this is a very simple metaphor, a very simple place to find that information. I can configure different property sets. So for example, here I can see all of the visibility, editable, mandatory rules associated with all of the fields in my form, and I can very quickly see that there is only one field, one or two fields, 1 and 2 fields that are mandatory on this particular form. I can also see that none of them have a mandatory message set up. And there are other sets of properties such as data binding and others. You can define your own. So this provides a very, very quick and easy way to do that second pass across your form. And it also means that you can, rather than dealing with a whole lot of spreadsheets or emails back and forth between the customer as they define all of these various bits and pieces, we can simply allow the customers to log directly into Form Composer and make these modifications directly on your forms.